Kanye's 808s and Heartbreak is one of the most influential albums of all time and has inspired so many of today's top artists. But what are the secrets behind its production? To find out, we first need to listen to Love Lockdown.
So keep your love locked down, your love locked down.
Like the name of the album suggests, Kanye used a lot of sounds from the Roland TR-808 drum machine. However, one of the most recognizable elements of the project, something you heard on Love Lockdown, is the total opposite of a modern drum machine. Let me introduce you to the ancient Japanese art of taiko. Literally translating to drum, taiko has been around for thousands of years and used in many different ways, most notably to summon soldiers to battle. This relates back to the whole theme of the album, as Kanye is basically at war with his emotions. Now to start RB, I sampled this taiko video and layered it with some extra drum one-shots. I then layered that with a tonal perk and electronic snare from the TR-808. Now we had a foundation, it was time to move on to the melodics. The one instrument that appears on almost every song is the piano. They used the Korg Triton, so I loaded up the VST version and played these emotional chords. It's also important to utilize top line melodies like this, which gives the artist something to base their melodies on. I enhanced that even more by adding a counter melody using a synth, as well as some stabby string chords. This sound is again from the Korg Triton. Rather than using real strings, Kanye opted for something less natural, which I think is really important for achieving the particular sound from 808s and Heartbreak. And to finish off this section of the beat, I wanted to take some elements from Bad News.
Cause I just heard some real bad news.
The glitchy synth accents contrast the taiko drums, giving it a futuristic twist, so I added a couple of accents as well as an 808 pattern inspired by Heartless, leaving us with this. For a switch up, I wanted to dive deeper into Kanye's use of synths on the album, particularly on Paranoid.
Cause I can make it good, I can make it hood, I can make it come, I can make it go.
The sort of sidechain bounce of the chords is very common across the album, so I used the same chords we put down earlier, this time using two different synths. After that, I layered in a bit crushed synth sound, as well as another ambient synth. Unlike the first beat, the melodic elements are giving a lot of the bounce, so I kept the drums very simple. Again, using TR-808 inspired sounds, I put down this snare and hi-hat, before finally adding a kick and synth bass, which adds a lot of movement. For our second beat, I wanted to understand the production on Streetlights. This song makes you feel so many emotions, and there are quite a few unique production tricks they use to achieve this sound. First, the song is in 6/8 time signature, straight away giving a slightly different bounce. As a bass layer, there are some emotional chords played on a piano. If you want progressions like this or some new sounds for your beats, then I'm doing a 40% off flash sale on all of my kits, which is live until the 26th of April. Use code FLASH40 at checkout. However, the most memorable sound is of course the strings. It sounds like a violin, but could easily be a guitar, processed to sound like one. For our beat, I layered a few violins together and used a sidechain effect, as well as adding a reverb, distortion, guitar amp, and EQ. Then Kanye introduced this even more distorted guitar, so I replicated that by playing the chords and adding a guitar amp, tape effect, chorus, shaper box, and compressor. To finish off our sample, there's one more element that Kanye used all over the project, and that's choirs. This preset is obviously artificial and comes from the Korg Triton. Like I said earlier, Kanye could have easily gone for the more natural, real choir, but using a less natural sound is definitely a conscious choice that he made throughout the project. For the drums, I again started with these taiko one-shots. And I finished it off with a synth bass. 808s and Heartbreak really is one of the most influential albums ever, and a lot of that is to do with the production. The emotional chord progressions encouraged artists to rap melodically, the contrasting ambient and distorted sounds can be heard in basically every beat today, and the way he used 808s was way ahead of its time. Music as we know it today would definitely not be the same without this album.